on. There we go.
And Eric Dolans, the man, the myth, the legend, the one who
Those of
keeps
you
us
who
all
don't know Eric,
together.
he's the one who keeps your training system up and running.
Right.
Shelley keeps all of us up and running.
True story.
That's fine. We're all keeping each other up, right? Yeah, people should be home snowed in, so if they have
Yeah,
power.
we're just all those people down south who don't have any power right now. It's
I
terrible.
know.
Hello, Scott Pickering.
Hey, how's it going?
Good to have you.
Thanks. Thanks very much.
I want to grab a picture, so when we get a couple more people, if we can just have them turn on the camera just for a minute. Just for a minute.
There we go.
Got some cameras on. Come on.
Face I'm familiar with. How you doing?
All good. How are you?
Good, great.
I trade for your weather at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm
Me
sure you
too.
would. We do pay a price in California. So
Understood.
It's worth it. It's totally worth it, though.
Ed, you hear them rubbing it in? You hear them rubbing it in?
Yeah, I know.
I paid my dues in Buffalo.
That's right. You did. You sure did. Carlos, Roger, Jody, if you guys wouldn't mind turning those cameras on, we're going to take a quick group picture. Hello. And then we understand that you guys are multitasking. So if you'd like to turn it back off, that's fine too. But we'd
Just
like to
for
get a good
1
picture.
second.
One.
We all understand it's pandemic look. It's like there's a different standard.
There's Joe.
Camera
Viva las
I'm actually
cruces.
driving, so it won't let me turn the video.
Oh, that's good. That's good safety.
Yeah, that's safe. Stay safe. All right.
All right, awesome. Well, we're going to give everyone one more minute, and then we're going to jump in and get started. Anyone else on this call have feeling the effects of the storms? No?
Just cold our way in Michigan.
Yeah.
Carlos?
Yeah, I guess we're getting the snow you guys just got in New York here.
Probably.
Yeah.
We've got the whole country. We've got the whole country representing here.
Yep. It's awesome. All right. Well, let's get started because I promised you a half hour and we promised you a half hour of some great content. We're going to be discussing today a culture of business development. Okay. We're going to talk about how does your dealership become recession-proof? How do you fight through moments like this, the bad weather, dips in the economy, just quiet, those quiet Januaries, whatever it is, how do you fight through those issues? How do you get through those things? We're going to have, just so everyone knows, please feel free to take notes and everything else, but we're going to send you out some packets with some different scripts that will focus specifically on the items we're going to be talking about today. We're even going to share with you what we do is an outbound scorecard. We do mystery shopping here. Some of the stores on here, like Ed, your group takes advantage of our mystery shopping, and it comes with a scorecard. We're going to share that scorecard with everyone so you can help yourself listening to your phone calls, giving grades to your staff, and so everything is consistent and uniform and matching the program to make sure it's your way. Accountability is a big part of this program. And this piece of listening to phone calls, understanding, right? Why do you sit with your sales staff and listen to everything they say on the floor, but never listen to them over the phone? So that is why we want to share that with you today. Okay, we kind of went through all the Alan Ram team that's here, Eric, Shelley, Susan, and we're going to go. We're going to jump right in here. Susan's going to start explaining 2 different types of salespeople that you have in the dealership, who they are and how to recognize them. All right, Susan, it's all yours.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. I'm going to talk a little bit about the hunter versus farmer mentality. Now, this isn't foreign to sales, really not even to our industry. In sales in general, we have these 2 mentalities. And I want you guys to take out a blank piece of paper for me, just a blank piece of paper. Okay. and a pen, maybe a marker if you have one. I'm going to describe both of these mentalities. And as I'm going through this, you guys might think of the folks that you have on your showroom floor. But I'll be asking you which of these you need to have a successful sales department, even throughout a pandemic, and make it recession proof, okay? Creating more and more opportunities. Now let's talk first about the hunter. All right, so if you think about a hunter, the hunter looks for his spot, shotgun in hand, waits for a deer to pass, right? If a deer passes, the hunter shoots and he feasts for the night. However, if no deer pass, what happens? The hunter doesn't eat, right? But instant gratification. Now, some of you guys have a showroom full of hunters. All right, let's talk about the farmer. Now, a farmer doesn't have the instant gratification that a hunter has. A hunter has to be patient. However, he is proactive in his approach, cultivating his crops, fertilizing his soil, and watering his land. But in time, what does the farmer see? An abundance of meals and feasts for time to come, just because he was proactive in the beginning. Now get those pieces of paper out, and I want you guys to write down which mentality you need to have to be a successful sales team in today's sales industry. Which do you need? Go ahead and write it down. Put those papers up. I want to see. Share it with everyone. All right, farmer, we've got farmer. Don't be shy. There's no wrong answer. All right. All right. Ding, 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 ding. Scott Pickering for the win. You need both. And I didn't see those other ones there. You need to have both mentalities. You cannot survive with just hunters or just farmers. You need to be able to react when you do have that walk-in, that fresh up come in. But you also need to know what activities you need to be training your team to do when there's downtime, when there's nobody on the showroom floor. And so you need a good combination of both of these mentalities. So I'm going to pass it back to Michael so he can expand a little bit more on that. Good job, guys.
All right. So again, we're going back to this question of how do we make ourselves recession proof? We've now identified the different traits of our sales staff, the hunter, the farmer. We want both, but how do we bring that out in them? How do we, yeah, I see I had my sign too. I knew the answer though. So how do we do that? How do we make them, how do we get our staff to work in a way that they're doing both? So let's just entertain me on this quick exercise, okay? There's 8 hours in a working shift, right? No one's on this call has ever worked 8 hours. Can't remember the last time we worked 8 hours. And we know our sales staff don't work 8 hours. But let's just, for the benefit of the doubt, sake of argument, we're going to say we got 8 hours in the day. You come in for that day and you're lucky enough, you're going to got an appointment, you're spotting a car. Boom, done. We'll just exaggerate 3 hours. You got 5 hours left in the day, okay? I'm going to give you 1 hour to have lunch, which is, I don't even know the last time I took an hour for lunch, or any of you do, but let's just say I'm going to give you an hour for lunch. I'm going to give you an hour just to F off, have hot dogs, cigarettes, and a coffee, okay? So that leaves 3 hours left in the day. What is your staff doing for those 3 hours? You know, in those 3 hours, are they, you know, something like this? Is this what we look like? Okay, this picture, mind you, was taken in Los Angeles just in December. This isn't 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Susan snuck up behind a dealership and took this picture. No joke, she did that.
We won't name the dealer.
We won't name the dealer. But is this what they're doing? We know they are. So how do we focus those 3 hours? How do we get your staff to take those 3 hours and make them useful? Remember, I gave you an hour for lunch. I gave you an hour to screw off, and I've given you 3 hours to spot a car. So we have several areas that we're going to focus on this on, okay? First one, unsold showroom ups, B-backs, okay? That's the first place they should go. But frankly, if they're not doing this, you probably don't want them in your showroom anyway. That's the basic. Unsold showrooms, be back should be the first thought in every person's mind every day after they spot that car and have their little hangout time. Okay. So boom, we know how to handle unsold showroom ups and we know how to handle be back. So we're going to get you the scripts for all of that, but that's there. Next place, service drive. Okay. The drive is a little different. I got it. Okay. You need that. Everyone thinks they need that personality of the guy who's going to walk into the service drive and go, all right, who wants a car today? All right. We got that guy, but there's also other ways to attack the service drive. First, most simple way that I can give best advice, just have your salespeople, when they sell the customer the car, tell the customer, call me to schedule service. Because if I'm going to schedule a service for Susan when she comes in, I'm going to make sure it's done on a day that I'm there. And I'm going to make sure I can go see her, talk to her about referrals, talk to her about the future, talk to her about her kids or whatever she wants to talk about, but make sure that she and I have a relationship, because we all know service sells the second car and the salesperson needs to be involved in that process. If not, they're not going to be married to that. So that's 2. Where are we going next? Dirty 30. Okay. Alan came up with this amazing concept, the dirty 30. How are we talking to our customers in the proper cadence for their life cycle? Get them out of the market before someone else touches them. That is the best way to sell cars and raise up those numbers. Okay. Easy, simple. I'm going to get in touch with you every 90 days and have conversations with you. All right. And in those conversations, I'm going to make sure that as soon as you're ready, when you hit that 30-month mark, I'm going to get you out of that car before you can even talk to other dealers. Same exact concept as the service drive, but I'm just communicating with them in a different way when I know they're going to be ready. Okay. Orphans. How many of you have orphans in your computer that you have no idea what to do with? You don't even know how to find it. First of all, get on the phone with your CRM rep right now today, ask them how to dig up a list of orphan owners. Okay. Pull that list, divvy it out. Okay. Most CRM tools you can call them and give them parameters and they can divvy out the orphan customers to existing salespeople. Okay. It's always, if you don't do that after every time a salesperson leaves, do it now. Get those salespeople. Susan's going to send everyone a script after. It's going to be an exact orphan owner script. Give out the list, give them the scripts, get them to work. There's nothing better. Okay, next.
Mike,
Yes.
Can I just mention something really quick? I'm
You,
sorry.
of course.
Orphan owners, make sure when you're divvying them up, like he says, to not assign them to guys that already have orphan owners that are working there. You guys understand? There are gentlemen that you have that may not be doing this follow-up. And these guys, I would consider orphan owners. So make sure not to assign those orphan owners to those guys. And also the receptionist needs to make sure when someone calls and says, hey, is so-and-so there? Not to say, no, he doesn't work here anymore. Click, because we hear that a lot. So make sure that your receptionist has the proper script, and we have that too. Back to you.
And
Mike.
if a salesperson isn't working a customer after that sale in that, okay. Would we love them to call every 90 days? Great. Is it practical? Maybe not always, but with those 3 hours, it can become practical. But the salesperson who isn't doing it, their sold customers should be considered orphan owners. Referrals. This is why I'm calling you to make sure you make the appointment with me for service. This is why I'm calling you on a 90-day cadence. This is why I'm calling you for every reason. Okay. My friend Ed there spends a lot of money for every single lead that comes in his store. Imagine each of those customers become 2 or 3 or 4 customers. That's what referrals provide. Pay a spiff for referrals. It's very easy. It's a very simple way to gain customers. Because I used to say it all the time when I was running stores here in New York. Okay. I used to say it for those of you who may or may not know, my Dominican salesmen, when they would go to the barbershop, it's an experience. They would spend hours in the barbershop every week after week, hanging out, drinking beers, talking cars, girls. That's what they would talk about. I would say to them all the time, have you ever brought up to anybody that you sell cars? Guess what happens when they did? 5, 10 cars a month just out of the barbershop. People are afraid to, for whatever reason, to mention that they work in car sales. Guess what, guys? We are in sales. We're selling all the time to everyone we meet. I don't care if it's at the grocery store or at the gas station. We're always talking. Finally, and the easiest one to do because you can automate a lot of this process, anniversaries. Okay, my car's birthday, the customer's birthday. Hell, you might even find the information because you sold a husband and a wife a car. You know their wedding anniversary. Call them. Be involved in your customers' lives. Be involved in what's going on with your customers, and those referrals, service drives, all of those things will just flow naturally. Okay. Now, Susan's going to jump in here because I want her to take one of these items and give you a couple tangible pieces to take back to the dealership today and start in your process. Okay, we did orphan owners. She's going to give you one more.
So I'm going to expand on the Dirty 30. Now, I know a lot of the folks on here are familiar. I know the Viva Group is definitely familiar with the Dirty 30. By a show of hands, who is not familiar with the Dirty 30 on here? Okay, perfect. Now, if you know how to hook the trade, you're already halfway there. I've heard the Dirty 30 and, it does get a little watered down. So I'm going to go through the Dirty 30 script with you right now. And then I'm going to call in a couple of you guys and listen, this is not about getting it perfect. This is about practice. This is what you're going to be doing with your team. So we want to make, hello? Oh, we have a volunteer? All right, let's talk about the Dirty 30. So when you're using this script, when you're calling those folks that are coming to term. Now, side note, originally, Alan wrote this script to be delivered at the 30-point mark. The 30-point mark is right around where folks are starting to consider getting into a different car. If I were running the show, I would actually have my folks call before that. The reason why? A lot of dealerships are getting on board with this technique and this strategy. So you don't want to call the customer when they're already getting phone calls, when they're already getting those postcards in the mail, right? You guys know what I'm talking about. You want to call them before that. Michael mentioned this is how we keep our gross profit high before they're shopping around and competing. So I would set your parameters on your CRM to 28, 29, depending on what type of dealership you are. If you're in a metro area, you do more leases. Obviously, I'd set that much, much earlier. And yes, you can deliver this script on a lease as well. You're just presenting an opportunity to these folks. It works for purchases, leases, new, used, whatever. And this is how it goes. I'm following up with, let's say, Eric Dolans, okay? He bought a car about 28 months ago. I'm gonna call and follow up with him just to make sure that he's doing all right. So Eric, great talking to you. How you doing? How's the family? How's the car?
It's going pretty good. A little cold out here, but family's good. Car's still running great.
I've heard all the snow everywhere. Well, listen, I wanted to present an opportunity to you. Here's our situation right now. We get a lot of folks coming in here looking for something new, can't always afford something new. They end up looking for something a little bit older that they can get into a little bit more affordably. And we just have a tremendous demand for these cars right now. Because of this demand, our appraisers tend to pay more, sometimes a lot more. Let me ask you if you might consider this. If we were to make an aggressive offer on your vehicle, would you at least consider selling it and getting into a new one?
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely be willing to take it in and see what the numbers come out to and go from there.
Awesome. Now, the key to this is very, very low pressure. And you want to make sure that they know you're following up with them, bottom line, to make sure that they're happy. So in the case that this person absolutely does not want to consider this, Eric, would you at least, let me ask you, if you might consider this, selling us your vehicle and getting into a new one?
You know, I'm pretty happy with what I've got right now, and I don't know, I just don't really want to take on anything new, and everything's working out pretty well, so I'm just thinking I'm gonna stick with this.
You know what? Great. I really just wanted to present the opportunity to you, but most importantly, we want to make sure that you stay happy in your vehicle. By the way, I wanted to update my records. How many drivers in the household do you have right now, and who would be next to buy a car? or to be in the market for a car. And you go on to follow up and maybe get referrals or update your household drivers. But it's that simple. So again, here's our situation. This time of year, we have a tremendous demand for vehicles like yours. We are looking for transition vehicles. Lots of folks coming in here looking for something new, can't always afford it. They end up looking for something a little bit older that they can get into more affordably. We call these transition vehicles, something like what you've got, Roger. And for this reason, our appraisers tend to pay more, sometimes a lot more. When was the last time you had it appraised? Come on in, let me ask you if you might just consider this. I would even add the might. Let me ask you if you might consider this. It just takes a lot of the pressure off. So Roger, I'm gonna pick on you just because I know you are familiar with the Dirty 30 script. And remember, this does not have to be 100% perfect, but there are certain keys that you want to, certain words that you want to use. Let me ask you if you might just consider this. I would not change that. I wouldn't say, let me ask you. You want to make sure that they're not pressured. This does not have to be a sales tactic call, okay? So Roger, why don't you call me and pretend that I am a customer and I've got a car that you want.
Hi, Susan. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Did I catch you at a bad time?
No, not at all. What's going on?
Hi, Susan. Well, I just wanted to see how are you, first of all?
Oh, gosh, great. Busy, but enjoying the weather here. Definitely.
Okay, so you're not going through the snow like we're going through right now, right?
No.
No? Okay.
Not, no.
Well, how's your 2018 Optima doing?
Oh my gosh, I love the car. It runs great. It's, we put some miles on it. We drive it a lot, but it's just been fantastic.
Awesome. Well, listen, I want to run an opportunity by you. See, you might be interested. All right, so this time of the year, we get a lot of people coming into our doors and looking for a vehicle, and for some reason, they end up not being able to get it. So what they end up doing is looking for vehicles just like yours, what we call transition vehicles. All right. So let me ask you this: we might be able to make you an aggressive offer because of the same reason that we have a lot of customers looking for that vehicle. Would you at least consider selling the vehicle to us and getting into a new one?
Sure, why not? That's awesome. See, and that's it. That's it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Now, I would practice this with your team. This is by far the most valuable outbound script that you could teach your team to create more CBD in your dealership. And I'll tell you, I'll test one other person if we have time. I don't know, Mike, I'll ask you if we have time. But in your book, in your workbook, we have a whole section on outbound strategies. And guess what's in here? The Dirty 30 script is in here. So you've got all the words there. Again, there are key phrases that you want to make sure to deliver. This time of year, we have a tremendous demand. Let me ask you if you might consider this. So great job. Let's see, let's test someone else. Scott, are you up for the challenge? Again, this doesn't have to be perfect. Hi, how are you?
Very good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Do you want me to? Okay, yeah. Hey, Susan, you still enjoying the cruise that you got from us?
Oh, absolutely. It's great.
That's fantastic. Now, if you don't mind, I'm gonna tell you about something that's going on right now at.
You got this. You
got
this. This time of year.
Yeah. So, Susan, this time of year, we've got a lot of people that come into the store trying to get into something new. Now, for whatever reason, they just can't get into something that new. So they end up having to get themselves into something a little bit older, like what you've got, a little bit older, a few extra miles on it that they can get into a little bit more affordably. Now, because we have such a demand for cars like that these days, our appraisers tend to pay more for them. Now, even a lot more sometimes. So if you would consider this, that if we made an aggressive offer on your car that you have, your Cruise, would you consider selling it to us and getting into something a little bit newer?
see, even that, did he get every single word down? No, but I get the point. And he's painting a picture in my head. And guess what the shopper's thinking at that moment? Even if they say no right away, you've planted that seed in their head. And I guarantee they're going to start thinking about getting into that new car. So they might even call you back, and you may even want to follow up with them. So great job, Scott. Awesome. And this is it. Now, this is what you guys should be doing with your team. It's not going to look perfect. It's not going to look pretty all the time, but the more you do it, the more confidence you are injecting into your guys when they're on the phone. So I'm going to hand it back to Michael.
Awesome. All right, everybody. I'm going to leave you with a couple things, 3 things, all right, that I want you to be doing as managers to help promote the CBD, okay? This culture of business development. First thing, right off the bat, help your staff, guide them. The number one thing, if I was able to take salespeople who are hanging around at the coffee clutch or not doing anything or sitting at their desk staring at the world or just scrolling through social media, if I really ask them, put them to a lie detector, the answer they're going to tell me is, I didn't know what to do. They'll never say that to you because they're too embarrassed to say it, but they're going to say, I don't know where to do. I don't know where to look. I don't know how to dig through the CRM. So make it easy for them. Pull a list and hand it to them. Okay. Then let them go into the CRM and do it. But you got to take your staff by the hand. You know, we always have those 2-3 people at our dealership that know exactly what they're doing. And I don't have to do anything with them because they're the hunter and the farmer and they're perfect. But most of your staff has no idea where to go. So make that roadmap for them. Use the skills that the techniques we're giving you here and write them the roadmap. We've given you very easy 7 buckets to drop everyone into. So just pick different buckets that you want to focus on and hand them off. Second, reward the farmers. The farmers are working hard and they're putting this work in to make sure that you don't lose customers, that one-time buyers become 2-time, 3-time, 4-time buyers, and they're not just one person buying, their whole family is buying, their friends are buying. Their car life revolves around your dealership, and that's what you want. And the way they're going to dig through and be those farmers is with a little spiff, with a little reward. It doesn't always have to be money. It could be, hey, you can get a person who farms the best, who brings in the most customer attention. You get to park next to the building today. I'll give you a spot in the parking lot, or whatever it is. It could be just that simple, or a gift card or a lunch. Yeah, Susan.
You know, I would be remiss if I didn't mention this. These calls are also going to supplement your used car inventory. You're going to be getting more trades in. So
Right.
if you're suffering with low inventory numbers, you know, I know that auctions are charging a lot more fees now. And so this is a great way of getting even your own service product back into your dealership.
Yeah,
so
big
I would
time.
absolutely reward those guys, 100%.
And
Hey
then,
guys, I've got
yeah,
one thing to say. I can't tell. I'm the one driving, so I
Hi,
can't
Jody.
tell if you can hear me or not.
Uh-oh, you're cutting out a little bit.
So one of the things that our guys practice along with the thing of the vehicles. Are you able to hear me still?
yeah.
Little bit.
Just if you speak up a little bit, but we got you.
Okay. Is contacting customers right before major services. When you follow along and you know that when we sold them the vehicle, it had new tires, and you're making service appointments for them, you get an idea of when they're coming up on these major services, and you're able to capitalize on that when you're planning on, you should only have about 5,000 miles left on your tires. So your next service, you'll probably need them. You're able to look back in the service records and find those. And those are things that we get people to trade vehicles. With Hondas, it's always right before the timing belts. We start hitting people and letting them know that they have that $1,500 service coming up. And a lot of people go ahead and trade right at those times.
That's right, Jody. I mean,
yeah.
you're so right. And that's why it's so
awesome.
important to be involved with your customer service life and know your cars, right? You said with Honda, I know to grab them right before that timing belt goes. Boom, done. And you create a process around that, and you just have that
And a lot of times,
steady stream.
When
You
we
there,
first
Jody?
started that process, our service department was like, yes. When we first started that process, our service department was like, well, you're taking timing belts away from us. But the thing that they realized is when I get the car in on trade, we're doing more service than the customer is to get the car ready to resell it again. So it kind of scared them in the beginning that we're, grabbing these people before they do these major services. But if you just assure your service department that
If you
Great
remind your
point.
service,
this is
if you
the
remind your
car
service
that
manager that
we're
his used
gonna
car department is the
retail
best customer.
also, and we're going to do those items.
Yeah, exactly. You're their best.
Absolutely.
Used cars is the service's best customer, right?
Mhm.
So, you're going to do the service anyway. We always had those challenges in the service drive. The advisors didn't want to, let people know when someone's car should be traded out because they didn't think they were going to get paid on the service. Those are the challenges you face, but you find ways around them. I promised everybody a half hour. I'm going to stick to a half hour. Last thing, use your book. Everyone, if you haven't gotten these new books, they're awesome. They're beautiful. They lay out, they're literally idiot proof. They lay everything out for you and your staff. So make sure they're using it. Make sure you're training with it. Sticking to my half hour, everybody, thank you so much. You rock for being here. I know this wasn't an easy week. I know the weather wasn't easy and a million other things, but I appreciate you all being here. We have our next session, March 25th. We're going to be talking about how to effectively optimize your inbound phone leads. Management by Fire, May in Atlanta, live 2 days. Okay. And like I said at the beginning, I love getting out. I had a blast with the Hennessy group in Georgia this past week. I can't wait to get back down and out to more dealerships. So please, if you want me to come out, want Susan to come out, GA to come out, raise your hand. We'll be out there.
We're getting vaccinated.
In your stores. Yeah, I got my shot yesterday. So thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. Crush the end of the month. Kill it. Susan, you were wonderful. Thank you again,
Thank
everybody.
you, Mike. Thanks, guys. Great seeing
Thank you,
everyone.
everybody.
Thank
If
you.
anyone
guys.
has any questions or want to talk more, we'll hang out here for another couple
Absolutely.
minutes.
Great stuff. Dirty 30. All right. Carlos, how you doing? How are things in Puerto Rico?
No snow.
You're muted, Carlos.
Pretty good. No snow.
I would hope so.
It's here.
And sunny. What a surprise, right?
Yeah, I think everyone would prefer being on your island right now.
Okay.
How's business in PR?
Very busy here. Okay. And it's very good. Thanks.
Awesome.
This is
Good,
good,
good, good,
Susan.
good.
We had a record January after a record December.
That's awesome.
Amazing. Such a great crew there. Some of the best folks that we have, some of the most familiar with the scripts in Puerto Rico.
We try the best. Okay.
I know you do.
Well, thank you. And
Yes,
let's
thank
go.
you. And Scott, I wanted to thank you for participating. I know that that's not easy, but
Yeah, it's really scary, and you did awesome.
Hey, no worries. Hey, thanks for calling on me. I appreciate
you kept your camera on. I figured that was a sign.
Yeah, for sure. It got me a good sweat today in the cold.
He's
It's
awake
cardio.
now.
It's cardio. You don't have to work out now.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
And she planned that. I got a text. Scott's here. I'm getting him.
I had my eye on you. Now, I wanted to remind you guys, Shelley had offered all of the attendees a $50 discount to Management by Fire. So I wanted to remind, especially Ed, if you've got any folks of yours. Yeah, so every meeting, and I think that take advantage, the $50 off the live event in May, which is
So
coming up.
every
It's
meeting
right
you
around the
attend,
corner.
you get $50. Every fire starter you attend, it's $50 off a Management by Fire ticket. So it can be a good, good savings.
Straight from the owner.
Carlos,
See?
you're at $100 so far.
Yeah. Well,
Where's
thank
the
you, guys.
closest location? Is it Florida or Atlanta?
Atlanta.
I think the travel's an issue for us right now,
Is
but
that?
hopefully that'll change soon.
We were trying to be optimistic in May. We're like, you know what? Like it was supposed to be March, and I'm like, let's push it to May. Hopefully, I'm an optimist, and I'm like, maybe it's July.
So she's sending us.
Gotcha.
I'll be vaccinated. I'll be there.
Oh, yay. Good. Now, I wanted to ask Scott. Scott, do you manage the simulations in your dealership? How does that, who's running that right now?
Yeah, so right now it is me. So I've been doing sales manager and general manager duties here. So yeah, we run the fire phones. I've got some new guys training up on the orphan phone calls right now. So
Great.
they're going to be getting started on that probably by next week. They just started this week.
You've got your hands full then.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's it's slow right now for us. So we're just getting ramped up to hopefully be able to get back to some sort of normalcy by March.
What part of the country are you in?
Pardon me?
What part of the country are you in?
I'm in Windsor, Ontario.
Oh, okay. Not our country.
Yeah, no, up in Canada. So
The neighbors to the north.
yeah, that's
Scott,
it.
I wanted to ask about inventory in your area. How is that affecting you guys?
We're starting to see a slowdown on the new end with getting available inventory. On the used end, there's still lots to buy, so we're not worried there. But on the new end, we're not getting enough to keep the lots full. We've got a Toyota and a GM store.
Yeah, we had a dealer in Mississauga, and they're also suffering on the Toyota side.
Yes, yeah. If we can get more Tacomas and Tundras, we would be a happy dealer. But there's just not as many to go around.
Right.
Whew.
Awesome. Good stuff.
Well, I'm sorry. You guys are cold too.
Oh,
There's no warm part of Canada.
No, we're in the we're for Ontario.
Yeah,
we're
you're
the
in the
southernmost tip of Ontario. So
Okay.
we, for our other dealers are more northern. So we're the Sun Belt out of all.
I don't know. I was like a borderline Ontario, Buffalo, New York. So we're right there, and it's cold.
It is cold. It is.
All right.
Well,
But
awesome.
thanks very much for everything today.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
everyone.
I
Really
hope everyone
appreciate the
found it
time.
valuable.
Awesome.
Bye.
Great seeing
Thank
everyone.
you.
Have a great day.
Bye.